Well, afternoon, morning, and evening, everybody. My name is Tom. I'm from Came to Believe Recovery, and welcome to Recovery live from Prescott, Arizona. My co-host today is Taren Price. And how are you doing today, Taren?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm awake, rested, and ready to go.
Right. We all came up here yesterday, everybody, to Chapel Rock Camp and Conference Center, which is in Prescott, Arizona. We're at 5,357 feet above sea level. You guys that know me know
It's
that.
about a mile.
It's more than a mile above
Right.
high. So it is not the 108 like it was in Phoenix when I landed there the other day, Taren. It's probably going to be in the high 80s and all. But we're so excited to be here today because we're ready for some lives to be changed starting this afternoon, right?
Well, they've already started. Yeah. Just for those of us that are here, our lives have already changed.
It's absolutely true. We've had some great fellowship here. Wendy's here from Minnesota, not Wisconsin.
That's right.
And Jolie's here from Parker,
Arizona.
Look at that, Parker, Arizona. The team here, and we've been fellowshipping and working, and they've been working really hard to put stuff together. It's going to be a fabulous afternoon. About 40 people coming right there.
Just 40.
Just 40.
Now, last year we had 40 registered because of sickness and other things. We ended up with 28. But that was probably one of the most intimate, life-changing retreats we could have ever expected. And we have returnees from last year that I would have never expected. We have a group that came from Vegas with 4, and they're bringing 6 more with them. So that's really, truly what we do here is we want to feed you, set the table that's good, so you come back and want more. They come back and want more, and they're serving, and their lives have been changed dramatically the last year. And if you were here, you would get to hear that because a couple of them are going to share how their life changed dramatically. And we've got commuters. We have 4 extra commuters this year that come right from the Prescott area. If you live in the Prescott Valley, Dewey, Humboldt area, and you watch us, you have the opportunity to come for sleep in the comforts of your own home and come and get 3 really good meals from their staff and then get really good food from our staff. So, you know, that's to me, that's encouraging. I'm excited. I'm ready for this one.
Fed all the way around. Let's say hi to some of our guests. Anna Branson. Hi, Anna. You're here early today and right on. Good to see you. Tom Clancy. Great to see you, Tom. Can't wait to see you in person in the Indiana retreat in about 5 weeks. He's not a book writer.
You could be an author. I love your name.
He's not, but he is a musician. Jamie Wade. Hi, Jamie.
Related
for
to
a month. No, and 2 days. Awesome.
Oklahoma.
Char Elliott from Oklahoma. I think that's the first time you've been on, Char. Thanks, Oklahoma. Wow, we'd love to have.
Hey, Brad.
Hey,
love
Brad.
you, sweetheart.
Brad's joining us. Everybody's joining in. It's so exciting knowing that we're going to be spreading this message to these people over this weekend, Taren. You know, the message that Came to Believe works really good.
Because it worked then, why would it not work now, as long as it's given the same way that it was given? And as long as you stay true to what the message is, not your message, not your program, but the message and the program, it can't fail. It says that. Rarely have we seen a person fail.
Right. And Bill Wilson actually said if he could have changed a word, he would have changed rarely to never.
That's right.
And we find that too, guys. You know, people come and sometimes they only take what they want and they leave.
Well, but that's all right.
You know. But those that take this and thoroughly follow the path and really embrace the principles that we are bringing and get that the promises are theirs and get that step 7 really works. We're getting ahead of somebody that hasn't been through it. But
that's all right, though.
You are launched on a life of growth and freedom when you leave here on Sunday afternoon.
And you learn that you had choice. For me, I didn't think I had choice. So when I was shown that I had a choice, then I can choose, do I want this life-changing experience, or do I still want the soggy milk and toast that I always have, or do I want the crisp toast that's, rye bread with butter? Which one do you want? You get the peanut butter and the jelly.
Let's see who joins.
Miss McManus is on us.
Yes, Autumn McCullough from Florida. Hi, Autumn. And Melissa. Hi, Melissa from Wales. She's the farthest away so far. Melissa. Alicia Martinez. Hi, Alicia.
Glad you're supporting us there, Alicia.
Christy Morales. Where are you from, Christy?
Vegas. Next year, baby. Next year. We got a car coming. No, but we're telling her next year.
Yeah.
We got it. We got a troop that comes out of Vegas.
Right. Oh, Autumn, can't wait to see you sometime soon.
This is really very difficult for my little brain, but I'm sorry. I've had probably too much coffee and too much excitement, but I'll be able to read.
You can read all those things.
There we go.
Alicia Brady. Hey, Alicia. She's in New Jersey.
Is that our Three Rivers?
That's Three Summers.
Hey, I know her.
You know
she had
her,
that beautiful baby. I hope your beautiful baby's still beautiful. She was precious.
In Texas.
Oh, I'm
right?
touched. Oh, yes, yes.
In Texas. That was great. Let's see. We're leaning forward. Anyway, again, you can't tell that we're really excited. This is just what we live for. It's not even work for us. I know it's not for me to do this and
Ariel,
bring this message and the anticipation of everyone coming today. Is
now
really
I'll sit here and I'll behave and I'll let you lead and I'll try to follow. It's not easy, but I'll do my best.
So along with, we get the people today, guys, that are going to come here and they want this. They are coming in expectation of some program. I mean, they're coming at different starting points. We don't know if they have a God or no God, or they've been through this program. They've been to a million programs. They've been to rehab. They've been to no rehab. We'll have people with a bunch of years sobriety and with no sobriety in general. We usually get one that's here using. It usually happens, one or two. Some very short, but everybody comes with the expectation that they're going to hear some message. But there's a whole bunch of people, and we've been spending a lot of time on Recovery Live talking about that step away from the people that have actually already decided to come here. Those that are still out in the lost. We call them the least. We talk about embracing the Great Commission and reaching out to the least, the last, and the lost. And we've even lately been delving into as far away to the lost as we can get and talking about subjects like harm reduction and going as far as not just harm reduction, but these overdose prevention sites and places where we're, before they're even ready to try to stop, we're just standing with them, showing love. And I'm finding that we need to do more and more of this. I mean, we just got to be around all these people and just radical grace.
And it's not for me, because for me, I had a man in my life that worked with me. And for 5 years, he did that. Mm-hmm. He loved me and my husband in our addiction. He loved us through it. He kept feeding me the truth. Mm-hmm. But it took me 5 years to decide that I wanted the truth.
Mm-hmm. But you knew where to go then.
Oh yeah, I had that. Okay. I knew where to go. Right. And that's really what it's about. If we're not, it says in our 12th step that we are to be of maximum service to God and people, his people. And so that means in the grocery line, when you're standing there and I'm standing there and you're disheveled and you're shaking, maybe I can carry your bag for you and just spend some time with you and let you know that you're real and that you're more than just what you think you are. I know what I thought I was.
And we're going to do that.
And see, you do this with me. You made me see, because I'm the emotional crybaby, but because it's that close to my heart.
It's very rare, guys, that Taren cries or gets emotional. So
she's a fool chicken. The noodles are so
but she's so right. There's, reaching out to those people that don't. But that's really our mission. It's really easy when they come. Not really easy, but it's different when they come. But how do we reach those that aren't even ready to come? And what do we say? The tough love thing. I'm less a fan of that as I might have been earlier in my recovery, to just say
I think there's a point where, Jesse said it, each of us have our own field there. Mm-hmm. Some things some people cannot do, but you have to take yourself where you are so you can be where they are. If you know that you can't go into a clean house for people who are using so they're safe. If you know you can't do that, then don't put yourself in that. I mean, come on, God gave us a brain to use. Let's use them. But if you know that the guy who's sitting on the street passed out, who just maybe needs somebody to prop him up and give him some water, that's maybe all he needs, and somebody just to talk to him. If you're capable of that, then that's what you're supposed to do. Right. You got to start where you are as well as where they are. Mm-hmm. You meet them where they are, but you got to start where you're at too. I wouldn't expect to walk in and go, ta-da, I can take care of this. some harm reduction for a while because was a little difficult for me. I have a son that's an addict. I had to do the tough love, not just for him, but for me. But he always knew I loved him because I couldn't, I personally could not watch it, you know, but he's sober today. So
it's a tough thing. And that's why we're bringing all these different people on, and we're partnering with everybody that we can. And we want to be in the conversation, and we want them in our conversation. With the hope is that, you know, at least everyone that we talk to and everywhere that we go, that at least people know when they're ready, if they're ready, there's this option.
That's right.
We're one of the options that they could try.
And prayerfully we're an option they want to take.
Right.
So we're not putting them in the ground.
But if we're not open, if we're not loving, if we're not practicing what we preach, you know, they won't ever want to know our.
Right.
We'll look like judgmental and self-righteous and all of this stuff that we're certainly not. I'm actually going to go visit one of the.
You know, I'm excited for you about that.
Overdose prevention sites in New York City next week. When I get back, we're going to go see, and we're just going to talk to them. And see what goes on. You know, I gotta be in it. Got to go see what's going on, and we'd love to have one of their staff come on and talk to us about what they're doing.
That would be wonderful.
So, like we have Jessie Blanchard from Atlanta on talking to us about the harm reduction that she takes care of, and you know, we've been down this road because Sarah is the one who's really behind the scenes,
she's a champion.
Championing us and leading us down. Because she did a lot of this when she worked for CARES in New Jersey, and you know, we're open to it. We need to be.
Well, I think it all comes from your heart.
Right.
And when I first got here, my heart was not there. My heart was strictly still very selfish, very self-centered in nature. And even when I was attempting to be serving you, I was still serving myself. You know, it's like help the old lady across the street for the badge. Well, I don't want the badge anymore, but you know, deep down inside, you want the badge. But there's something about the process when we're in it and we're living it in the go, and our lives we're recognizing, you know, we recognize the flaws in me are the things in you that I struggle with, but it's not you, it's the flaws in me. The things that in the 7th step that are removed that I need to remember have been removed so I can go forward. And it's a constant evolving of, I don't want to live like that anymore. I want to have a better perspective on people. I want to treat people as humans being, not humans doing, or they're against me. I want to see them for being real as people.
Do you know how many, you were talking about the grocery store, and I totally agree with you. You know how many people is okay to be in front of you at the grocery line?
Many.
See, Taren has turned the corner, because I can be the happiest person in the world when I get to that grocery line. Who's in front of me? Don't they know who I am? But I got a note from Taren the other day when I was getting ready to travel, right? And Taren and I are good about spreading sunshine. We did it in Minnesota, and we get it. And Dale Barker and I do this all the time too. When we're together, we go in and say, all right, let's go brighten somebody's day. And she sent me this little note on my thing, just spread some sunshine today. And I was on the plane, and then I got off the plane and ran into quite a fiasco at the rental car place and found myself in a line of some angry people and chose to spread some sunshine. And
you got your car first.
I got my car. I wasn't stressed about it. No, I whined to Lisa about it afterwards, but not badly, because it was good. Anyway, we do live it, right?
Well,
we live it, and we grow and we live what we.
You have to.
Yeah.
I look at it this way: it's not by absorption that you get it, and if you choose not to, then you're welcome to go.
Right.
I'm there, or you can just. Go with the flow, and it's amazing how it's easy to go with the flow. I think it's easier to go with the current than to fight against it. You know,
Paula, where are you from? Welcome, thank you. She says great conversation. So let's talk. Only a 40-minute wait, right? Lisa says.
I love you, Lisa.
You know, a lot of what we want, you know, what I wanted to talk about today, and something that Jessie brought up, and as we've behind the scenes been really talking about this lately, and we embrace it from all of our philosophy, but we haven't really spoken it out and really made it you know, kind of a thing or a mission for us. And this idea of that we're all we're a person first.
Yeah.
And that is what really drives a lot of the harm reduction, is that we want to at least tell these people, no, you're not an addict. You're a person who is struggling with addiction right now.
Yeah.
You're a person who is homeless right now. But the idea that you're not identified as that
You're
that's
not your circumstances.
right, is so freeing to someone to say, I think it was for me to say, no, Tom, you're a person who's struggling with this. Oh, then maybe I can get out of it.
Right. And
But if I am just it.
Right. And you are not what you do.
Right.
Because when we look at people for what they do and not for who they are, we shorten the arms, our own arms, to be able to forgive, to be able to receive, to be able to love. I mean, we aren't what we do. And I didn't learn that outside of the rooms. I learned that inside by the examples of those people who showed me I wasn't what I did. A retreat showed me I wasn't what I did. Honestly.
Yeah. And that if I'm a person and I'm valuable and I'm worthy and I was created as a unique individual, I have something to offer. And that I can shake this.
A dollar bill. When you get a dollar bill, it's brand new, it's crisp, it's all nice and pretty. And as it goes through its process through people, it gets crunched, it gets torn, it gets dirty. It's still worth $1, isn't it?
Yeah.
So no matter what I've gone through in my life, I started out all pretty nice and brand new. I didn't lose my value.
You didn't lose your value one bit.
Right. And that, when we are in the depths of our addictions and those things, we don't remember. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at what we are, what we did. We're not recognizing that we're still of value. For me, the thing that I've learned most here in this place that I'm at today is I do have value and I do have worth. And I don't have to have all the words. I don't have to have the right words. I don't, you know what? Sometimes I just need to be able to hold sacred space for someone so they know that whether they say anything or not, they're safe.
It's really something that we're going to embrace in a much more proactive manner here.
That's why I'm still here, because that's something that I don't want to see us lose.
We're coming up with a good slogan, at least that one I sent you. I don't know if you can put it up, but I forget what we're working on a slogan behind the scenes that we might make shirts out of or something. You're not your addiction. I forget. There's 3 lines, but it's good that you can be recovered because of the person you are. You know, when I talk sometimes at retreats, when I'm allowed to do my little paper thing.
Oh, here we go. He's pushing. He's pushing to do something this weekend. I'm just telling you now.
And what I try to do is really exemplify or show that everybody is individual. You're so unique. And then for that, you would have the idea. Look at that. Taren still has hers. Right? You're so unique that you must have something to offer. Or I at least open the idea that there's something here on this world, in this life, that you have to offer that no one else could. And that's really empowering. It was really uplifting for me. And it also was a little bit kind of pissed me off, because now I got to do something, right? It gives you a little
accountability
to say, take some excuses off the table.
No longer being a spectator, becoming a participant in your own life.
Yeah. Well, in fact, if you don't do it, whoever you are, the thing you're supposed to do, guess who will do it? Nobody.
That's right.
And we all can do something perfectly and unique. We're here. We can. And it's up to us to use our new 6 hours or 8 or 5 hours in your day to start living in the go, using the principles we teach you, and figure out whatever that is for you. And it's a great ride.
And sometimes you don't have to figure it out. Sometimes it gets figured out for you and you're doing it. You don't even know it's happening.
It's true.
One of the best things, one of the greatest ways to do that is to suit up and show up when somebody asks you to be there for them.
Suit up and show up.
You know, if you ask me, well, I'm too busy doing other things, or I wouldn't even mention that I was too busy to do other things.
Oh, here this is. Let's see. This is, don't let your addiction define you. You were a person before your addiction. You were a person in your addiction, and you can be a person recovered from your addiction. That is such an awesome thing.
There you go.
We're working on that. I don't
That's
know.
a good.
Do you like that?
It's a lot to put on a shirt, but I think people be going like this.
Lisa started it. I edited a little bit. It's a work in progress. That's the one that Lisa and I are working on. So, but we like that. I mean,
that
it's
would
true,
be great
right?
for standing in line.
For standing in line,
No,
right?
you know what I mean? People
yeah,
standing behind you.
like the four
That's right. That's
outsiders.
right. They could.
Right? Yeah.
What's that church at?
I like that. But you know, I know that when I was told, first of all, that step 7 really worked. I am not defined by that character anymore. I have a new character. Right. I'm going to make mistakes, but I have a process to work through those mistakes. And I'm going to grow in my effectiveness to God and my fellow man. And I had this 6 hours, and I'm figuring out what am I going to do now. All of a sudden, a lot of things seemed possible. And I went back to school. I remember 8 months after coming out of addiction, and I had no experience of success at school or at really anything. So what made me want to go do that? What made me think, thinking back, and anyone listening, it's, on the surface, this thing isn't going to work, on paper.
Esteemable actions.
Esteemable action.
That's
but
what
it seemed like it was all of a sudden possible because I had overcome this addiction. I had felt this freedom. I had been instilled with a new spirit and strength, and I had the 9-step promises working in me, and all of a sudden I am not going to be a failure. Let me try this.
And even if you weren't successful, grateful that you were, but even if you weren't going to be dragging yourself on the floor saying, "Oh, I didn't do it." The attempt.
Yeah.
How many times in my life that the doors were open for me and I didn't walk through because of being stuck by fear, or definitely stunted by fear, that the doors have now been open. I mean, I flew in an airplane all by myself across the United States. I would have never done that before. Went through a tunnel that I would have never went through before, all by myself in a car in a strange place, because those were things that before I would have, that just literally stopped me in my tracks. And then other things in my life, the goals and the ideals and those things of not being able to follow through because inside of myself, I didn't think it was enough. I couldn't do it. But I don't think there's a goal that cannot be obtained. But I also don't set my goals up here. They are now, everything is now eye level. Right. And when everything is eye level, then that means you're at eye level. So I can approach you too. Whereas before in my life, I went, I can't talk to that guy. Or I can't talk to that man. Or, I can't do that. The I can'ts don't live in my life. I can.
Those little goals that we can set and be and attain start to build up. They add on top of each other. And then you look back. I started where I went to school just to show up one day. And I got an A on one paper. I had to write one paper. And then a year later, it's 2 papers. It's 10 papers. And all of a sudden, it's not just an A in this class. It's an A in all the classes. Because I got an A in that class, why can't I get an A in the next class? It really does suck you in.
Yeah, you bet.
As you're reading your success after success and making adjustments along the way as you stumble, because we do.
That's right.
But we're allowed to do it. But and then as you're growing, I discover things you had no idea you were going to discover. Right. They find you.
And you do things you would have never expected to ever do.
Right.
Or be given the opportunities to do. That to me is the doors that are open to you because you were willing to walk through the one that you went, the door gets open and you go, wow.
I know when I was working, I went to school and then I ended up getting hired by the school, right? And that's where I met Lisa, because Lisa used to work at the school. We used to work together. So they had this, this impossible thing that one day Lisa would work for me. And I don't really think she works for me now. I work for her. But we used to laugh about it as this thing,
together.
And now Lisa, and now she's laughing right now, or she's rolling her eyes, probably rolling her eyes. But this idea that these teams and these things that happen, that's just a funny example of things you would never have thought how that would happen.
I'm gonna pitch this now. I'm gonna pitch this. You were at my very first retreat. I would have never thought I would be sitting here with you on Recovery TV.
Right.
I would still be in Came to Believe.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm not in Came to Believe. Came to Believe is what has come out of my relationship with Alcoholics Anonymous and the process that works. But I would have never thought that I'd still be hanging out with you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So it is true, guys. You've heard this before. Lisa's laughing. I know. I have another friend. who I've told her she's going to end up working for me, and another guy, who knows how it'll all happen. But because this happened, who knows? Right? That first retreat was really something, and that was in like 1990. Was it 1995?
Yeah, because I got sober in 94.
Yeah. So, back then, guys,
we slept in TVs.
We were spreading this new retreat. It was a new retreat.
Yes, it was.
It was a new retreat in California.
Second time out.
And the team was smaller, and all of our retreats were smaller. But we're really continuing that today. And now we're doing it. We're trying to take it to the next level to spread the retreats.
I like where we have come.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, a lot of personal experience, strength, and hope. A lot of emphasis on the process. But to the extent of where we are now emphasizing the most important parts, step 7 really works. 8 and 9 are, you leave here knowing, have a better idea of what you're doing when you get back home. And we're equipping for 10, 11, and 12. And before we weren't equipping for 10, 11, and 12, we were kind of left with this is how it goes. And then it was, if you lived like I did out in the middle of nowhere, you were kind of like, all right, now what do I do? I read 83 through 88. I can make some phone calls. Right. But when they're 3 hours ahead of you and you're shaking, you're not going to call them. But what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. You had to learn you had to find your way. I'm grateful that we now have broken it into a more concise, what it was always, but to present it. It is so much nicer to present it from the beginning to the end versus a 4-hour where they're shoving 9,765 things down your head and you're supposed to go, okay, I got it. And then you're floating going, what just happened? What just happened?
We got to engage it. And I think a little time is more closely to what they would have done. There's a lot of stories, Taren, of them taking people through the steps in an afternoon. Dr. Bob is 3 hours in his office.
You can do that. You can do that. But they also had a personal relationship with, what I mean? I don't think Clarence just walked in one day and said, hey, Bob, how's it going? And Bob goes, here, we're going to take 6.5. It wasn't like that. I know that Bob, just from what I've read in Dr. Bob and the Good Old Timers, of the things I know of these people, he took time. Yeah. Just like the man that spent 5 years with me and my husband, he got to know who we were. So when I came home from work that day and he said, we're going to do the steps because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. As my husband is in the middle of them, I'm like, oh, okay. And we were done, but he knew us. Weekend experience. You can still have that in this weekend. It's not impersonal at all. Because the people who are presenting have the right hearts for what they're presenting for the people who are coming, who need a life-changing experience. And there is enough of us who've had them, who attend to be a participant, to be a helper, to do fifth steps, to be supportive.
Did you know Alice? Alice Heckert. She says she was at the first retreat too. She came with Grace. I think I remember Alice.
Alice, were you
Did you sleep in a teepee?
Did you sleep in a teepee, or were you at this first big river with Gracie? Because at that time you were Alice Acton, and I do remember you. Yes. If that's who you are, right. And yes, I do. I've wondered how you've been. Same phone number, 30 years later. Please give a call, Alice. I'd love to hear from you. I also saw Paula. Oh yeah, was your last year. Went to California over there at Ricky's.
Okay.
I don't know the name of it because I'm
Redwood Glen.
I have the better property in California because I'm on the intercoastal, waiting for it to fall in. That half. Yeah. But Paula, they love me.
We apologize.
Yeah, you do not need to apologize for me. So you're still in Alaska. Wonderful.
Dale
Would
and
like
Stephanie
to
are
talk
coming
to you.
to see her.
Would like to talk to you.
In Alaska. But Taren, you're right about the 10, 11, and 12. And we weren't, 10, 11, and 12 is what we're supposed to live on. It's the program. We call it Living in the Go. And there's so much time spent. There's so much content in the big book about how we're supposed to do this. And responsible for us to help give some tools to some people. And that's what we are trying to do.
Right, exactly.
Spend more time on the Sunday and say, we're going to teach you how to live in the Go. We're going to give you some tools, some practical ways to try to do this.
And now we back it up.
Right.
Now we back it up with meetings We have hybrid meetings. We just, last night, the 4 of us plus many other people are now, we went on the St. Joe meeting. This is their second one they've had. It's a hybrid. St. Joe's 3-4 weeks ago.
Right.
And now they're already having a meeting. We have a meeting on Wednesdays. We primarily stick to 10, 11, and 12. That's because I'm weird that way. But we have meetings. Well, I'm weird in a lot of ways, but we don't tell everybody that.
I got a good audience.
On camera, I'm telling the world here. But we also have all of those there are other hybrid meetings, but then there's the in-person meetings. And somebody said to me, why don't I ever hear this message? Well, it's because unfortunately, people are what they do what they do sometimes. And sometimes we get this thing, we become recovered and we're all better. And we think that we don't have to go to meetings anymore because we've got the thing. But our whole purpose, it says right there, we're to be fit for maximum service to God and the people about us. And when I think of being fit, I think of being measured. So I'm being measured up for my position in that program of recovery. And that means that I need to sit up and show up in those rooms where there are people that don't hear, you don't have to drink again if you don't want to. How long do you want to stay sick? There's a plan of action. Would you like to see a life-changing weekend? Or how about, would you like to just sit down and I can show you some things in the big book that might.
And they won't hear it from anyone else.
No, well, they can't hear it from anyone else because what they're hearing is wah, wah,
right.
wah.
So we're
wah,
committed.
Wah, wah.
It says we're responsible to share the message. And I felt, excited and still do today to share the message that I got, that I'm still living. And I like to watch people grow and grow and grow. We're doing more and more in this 10, 11, and 12. We're taking Taren, we're running workshops. We're trying to even boost people that have been sober a long time in their 10, 11, and 12 to keep them rolling and growing. It doesn't end.
We have people coming this weekend that
doesn't
have
end.
15 plus years that are in a place. I just always think that, we came here to these retreats to rekindle. And there are some people that have no concept whatsoever of a power greater than themselves. And my prayer is that if they leave with a better idea of who they are and want to connect with a power greater than themselves, they're afforded that opportunity to people who have a power greater than themselves, that the founders found, the God of the big book, the loving God, not the punishing God or there is no God at all.
Right,
and Mary Jo always said this, that we aren't selling anything here. We're offering a better way of living. And you can take it as a religious thing. It's not, it's spiritual. And spiritual things, there's no law against them. It's like it's part of the natural laws. Like what goes up must come down. Well, there's another law of aviation that says, but if you have apply enough thrust, you'll go. But as soon as you turn them engines off on that plane, what's happening? Gravity takes over. So you have to be, I think we present enough in our own life experience to open a door that, why is she smiling? What's she got? That I want what they have. And it really, we all have it within us. I mean, it says that in our big book, that innate every man and woman is a sense of God.
I agree
okay,
with that.
so I don't know what that looks like. I'm not defining it for anyone else because I had a sense of God, but I didn't have a relationship. Today, I have a relationship with a God who loves me, warts and all. And I say this, and I'm not going to say it because I'm on national TV, but anybody that knows me knows what I say about how he loves me. Okay, I'll go hairy legs and all. Because that's not what he loves about me. What he loves about me is the fact that he already had a plan for me. He had a plan for me from the very beginning. I just didn't know the plan because nobody said, hey, this is the way. So I came here and learned that, hey, there is a way.
And you go, guys, that way, if for you that are watching us, maybe saying, what are they talking about? Steps and Weekend. What we do at Came to Believe Recovery, what we have been doing for 50 years, over 50 years.
I haven't, but yes, we have.
The organization and people and volunteers around the country and now around the world is we've embraced, we were blessed enough to be introduced to some people that knew one of the founders, Clarence Snyder, who went through the steps with Dr. Bob, who was, with Bill Wilson, is credited with really writing the book and coming up with the program. So we do have what we say is from the horse's mouth, what they did back then.
Right, exactly.
And what they did that was working so well, especially in the Akron, Cleveland area. And we replicate that here very, very closely and take people through the same process that they went through. And what we find is people can leave here and identify as recovered.
Right. Which doesn't make you entitled to anything more than what anyone else has.
That's right.
The only thing that's different is that you recognize that the very front cover in that book says that more than 1,000 men and women have recovered, which means I'm not cured, but I have a way of living that works.
And frees you from that obsession.
Oh.
And so being recovered is something we say everyone should expect at some point in the process.
Exactly.
If you do what we did, you'll get what they got and what we got. And recovered is what they got. And then we live in 10, 11, and 12. And sometimes it takes a little 10, 11, and 12 till we feel that in our hearts that we truly are recovered. But
sometimes we have to get over ourselves.
Yeah. The message is that's the goal. Why would the goal isn't I'm going to struggling and digging out of this hole the rest of my life. It's not what they did. They used this process and they eventually dug out of the hole. And they did it quickly, though.
Yeah. And we learn to persevere. And in that perseverance, we learn patience for ourselves and the people around us. And we learn to practice. And I share this we practice to make more practice, to make more practice. And then I heard this man say, we practice not for perfection, but we practice for, what is it, girls? Graham Cook says, we practice. Oh, they've not had breakfast yet either.
Practice makes permanent.
Yes, practice makes permanent.
Practice makes permanent.
And
That's a good one.
It's that the adage that 21 days it takes to have a habit changed, 21 days it takes to change anything. Well, that's the truth, but you have to continue practicing. You can't go 2 days and I don't feel like doing that today.
Practice makes permanent. Lisa, we should write that down.
That's a Graham Cook thing.
That could be a.
And then there's nothing changes till something changes, and what you're not changing, you're choosing.
I like that too.
That's that one usually gets people going.
They do, right?
But I don't mind being the harsh old broad. I don't mind being the harsh old broad because I'm not being harsh. I'm loving them because somebody had to tell me the truth. And when you're seeking the truth, I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. When you're seeking the truth is finite, like good cream. It comes to the top. It will always come to the top. And if you're looking for the truth, it's going to come to the top for you. Now, whether you accept it, whether you choose to apply it and live it, that's your choice.
So Joyce, hey guys, remember that we're going to do our t-shirt giveaway? I haven't seen #recovered yet.
It really seems like we've been here a long time.
Right now. We're not doing the t-shirt giveaway yet, but shortly.
Oh my goodness!
Did you see that?
Is that all the time we've been?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out with you some more then.
We got some more time.
Yeah, I'm #recovered.
#recovered.
And if you've already got a t-shirt, be gracious and pass it on to somebody else who maybe doesn't have one. If you got 2 or 3 hanging around, you know what I mean? Yeah, hand one out. The more of us that are wearing them and showing them, the more people that get to see it.
Wendy's on #recovered. She's sitting right behind us. But
yes, she is.
She's on. She can enter.
Look, all I gotta do is say it, and they all follow.
They all follow, right? They all #. They're seeing everybody. It's great. Well, it's a really great conversation today. Person first, guys. We know that you're a person. You're unique. You're individual. You're special. You're valuable. You're not defined by your addiction or your brokenness.
No, you're not.
And you can also be recovered. It's a process. It can be a very short process if you come through here. People's come and have what they call a white light experience. People walk away from here completely freed, and we have people that walk away on the path to freedom that happens very quickly.
And there are some that are so heavenly bound, they're no earthly good.
No earthly good. Shake them off.
Well, we got to lasso their ankles and bring them back down to earth because we need them here.
And we've embraced that philosophy of standing by the door. We really want to reach out.
I was going to say that's
those that are outside the door, that have no conception of God, a bad conception of God, a hurting, anything.
Right.
And we want to bring them in and not tell them anything about it, except give them the opportunity for him to take their hand and show them who he is.
Exactly.
And then we wish them well in their growth, in their spiritual life, and hope they
We're
come
there
back
to
to help us.
We're there to help.
Right? We're there to help.
I'm going to go out on a limb because I haven't seen his name, but I do see his precious, beautiful wife, Miss Sue. But I'm sorry, I'm putting a shout out to you, Mr. Foreman. I love you very much. I do. I love him very much. So
The general, he's the general.
No, he's Mr. Foreman to me. You can call him whatever you want. He's Mr. Foreman to me.
He's probably on watching.
love you,
Sometimes he watches with Sue. Let's see if she says.
Well, I don't know if he is or he isn't, but I'm just making sure that I said it here so the world heard me say, I love Mr. Foreman.
We'll call him after this. Have a call to Mr. Foreman. We got to have him on here one of these recovery.
Oh,
I don't know if he's
I would
been
love
on
to
lately.
be on with him just to listen and watch him and
Yeah.
be able to say hi, Mr. Foreman. My very first retreat,
Mhm.
Mr. Foreman was there. And my third retreat, Mr. Foreman was there, and I had the privilege, and I say it's a privilege, to sit between him and Jack. Crap. I'm not going to go because I'm going to cry.
And yes, you are.
I am going
So
to cry because they just.
I got my first lesson in the Foreman rule of travel at that retreat with the teepees. The Foreman rule of travel. So we wake up in the morning. We slept in the teepees.
No, you
Michael
slept
Cole,
on
I
the
sleep-
roof of a building.
Well, we
You
did
tell
at
the
the end
truth.
of the
Okay,
night.
you tell the
But
truth.
we had a horrible night of no sleep after jet lag, and it was Michael Kohler, myself, and John Z.
And a
John Z and
giant
a few
bear
others.
that we
Yeah.
have no idea came into
So
the camp, but there was
we-
a bear in that camp.
We slept on a tennis court underneath the sun in the end, and we came into the meeting hall the next day. In walked Steve Foreman, fresh as a daisy, happy as he came, and we were not happy with Mr. Foreman. Like,
You weren't
look
happy
at me,
anyway,
Michael,
but
like, you know. And he taught us Foreman rule of travel, which is you have to make sure you take care of yourself. And he was at the Pear Blossom Inn, if you guys remember. Yes.
We got your number there, Cucumber.
Sue was at that retreat too, I believe. Sue was there.
We will never forget that trip.
That was good, but and it took me a little longer to embrace the Foreman rule of travel. But when you travel, you got to make sure you're not sleeping.
I'd
in
had
the
to learn that. I had to learn that, but for me, because someone said to my husband and I, you're going to sleep in teepees, and he looked at me and I looked at him. I said, I don't care. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to meet Grace Snyder.
Well,
Who's Grace Snyder? Clarence Snyder's wife. She's going to be there, and I want to meet her. So,
Mhm.
and I want to figure out what this. It was whenever I want to figure out what this is all about. This man that I work with has been telling me all this stuff. I watched what happened to him. I want what he's got. So that meant I had to do what he did. I went to a retreat, and our
the
lives
rest is history.
our lives were never the same.
Never the same. So, guys, if you're wondering, if you're out there and you're wondering this, you haven't been to a retreat, you
I
want to
love you,
know
Doc.
what's going on, reach out to us. Reach out to it. We'd love to see you at a retreat. We have one in Indiana coming up, then some ones in California, and there's one in New Jersey in October. There's some in the UK, guys. A whole bunch in the UK coming up in August. In the winter, they're spreading the message out there. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you come because we're sick of hearing, why didn't anybody tell me this?
And you owe it to yourself. You have been, if you are in a place where you have been cheated, because, a lot of us come with that, I was cheated. If you've cheated yourself out of a better way of living and you don't want to live the way you live anymore, take the risk of coming. We are all over the place. I mean, from here in Prescott, I don't even live in Arizona. I live in California. I drive 3.5 hours to come here, but I've driven 8 hours to go to a retreat in Utah. I've flown across the country. Take the risk for yourself to do that. And I'm saying this, and I don't like I'd rather look at him than look at you guys. I'm telling you, don't cheat yourself anymore. Take the risk. Find somebody that'll come with you. We got people come. This retreat has people from California. People from Utah come here. I have people from Minnesota, Florida, Texas, from all over the United States come to New Jersey. From all over the world, the United States come here to have their life, to change their lives. And it only took getting in a vehicle or to get here.
And what if it works, guys? I mean, what do you have to lose, right? If we're
Las
full
Vegas,
of it,
we got a lot from
if we're
Nevada.
full of it, and it's not true, you go back to being just the way you were. But what if it is true? What if you do just what we did? It's a weekend. What if it works?
And if it doesn't, you really didn't lose anything.
You met some funny people, and we had some good meals.
Look, if you're coming where I'm at, you're gonna have fun because
right.
I'm a little weird.
It's a little. She's from California. You know, that's
That is not why I'm weird, because I'm actually born in Philadelphia, Norfolk, Virginia. So, you know, I just like to have fun now, and I really like to have fun at your expense sometimes.
everybody does.
Well, that's,
No.
but hey, but I'm gonna go Yanks. That's right, Parker. You heard it. Go Yanks. And they've got a stunning team this year.
They do. Where is
I
Dale
know.
Parker? Today?
He's
I
hiding.
didn't see him
He's
on-
hiding.
Oh, he's working at NASA now.
Oh, is
I
he?
guess he's
Is he
getting ready
space
for-
traveling?
Yeah,
Okay.
he wishes.
I love you,
Now we can
Stephanie.
give him- Stephanie. And we
I
feel
pray for
sorry
her.
for you, Stephanie.
No, I don't feel sorry for her. She chose him. She prayed for him. I don't feel sorry for her.
Hmm.
I pray for her though. I love her. Yeah. I don't feel sorry for her. That was her prayer.
Yeah.
Dale Barker was her prayer.
What Lisa says, it's my favorite pastime. What is that, Lisa? I didn't see what.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. It was my comment.
Oh.
Having fun at your expense.
Oh, yes. Okay. That's, I'm sure that is certainly true.
Busting your hope. I'm not busting
Chops
his
is-
chops, but
that's okay.
yeah.
Um,
Tom, but you're okay with that. I mean, you're not okay with it, but you're okay with that.
yeah.
Yeah, you're not, you're not offended. You know why? Because you've learned that offense is not necessary when you know who you are. When you know who you are, there's nothing anyone can say. You're kind of bulletproof when you know who you are. I learned that here. I learned it who I really was, not what I thought I was, or, I thought I was all that, a bag of chips, and I ended up not even being a potato. So I mean, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna play you the Bulletproof Samantha Fish song.
Okay.
You'll like that.
And I like Samantha Fish only because of you.
So let's see what time it is, guys. We're just about
Probably time for Taren to be calm.
12:48. So why don't we do, Lisa? Let's do give them one more minute, and let's do our t-shirt giveaway, and then we are going to get ready to go and change some lives today. But let's do the t-shirt giveaway and see who is the lucky winner. If it's Wendy, we can just give her one. We're like right here.
Fingers are up. Look at that.
So we'll wait to see. And here we go. Let's see how many we have today. Can you see that? Put our glasses on. Turn it on. There's 10 people. Here we go. Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slows down. Does that whole thing.
Danny Richard.
Richard.
Where's Danny from?
I don't know, but I love it.
Danny, make sure you put your address. Take care of that so you get the t-shirt.
Right. And well, Danny's coming to us on Facebook, so that's good because you can go through Messenger. But when people go through YouTube, there's no way to put a
I
message in.
YouTube because I don't Facebook.
Yeah.
It's not that. No. It's not even yet. I don't want to know where Dale Barker ate. Sorry, I don't. I had that. I don't want that in my.
Don't friend him then.
How do you not friend Dale Barker?
It's easy.
Right,
Sure.
Mr. Go Yanks.
Anyway, thanks so much, guys, for joining us. Again, we're here every Friday. Recovery Live.
We're not here every
We're
Friday.
Not here. Well,
We
it's
could have.
here someplace.
That could be arranged if you say it enough. It could be.
And
I'd love to be his co-host.
we'll be in Indiana as the next retreat after this weekend. We'd love to come on. Maybe we'll come on Sunday afternoon and do a quick impromptu on Facebook.
I don't
tell you
even want to
what's
say
going on.
that because I wait.
On my Facebook
Oh,
account.
it's
'cause you
on
don't have one.
Facebook. That's why I don't ever see it.
We'd have to do it on Facebook.
That's why I never see it. I'm
going to take a
duly
nap
noted.
now, guys.
No, we're going to
because
Denny's to
we're
eat,
going to
everybody boy.
Denny's.
We're
gonna
all
go to
hungry. We're
Denny's.
ready for breakfast.
So thanks everybody for joining us from Prescott, Arizona, Taren Price and myself. Hope you guys have a great weekend. If you're coming here, we can't wait to see you later. And we'll see you next week on Recovery Live at 9 Pacific, 11 Central, 12 Eastern, and 5 p.m. in the UK. Have a great weekend, everybody. Peace. See ya.
Thanks, Tom.